Hello, welcome to the Blog of the Net podcast. How you doing, Richard? You good?
I am very good, Daniel. Very good. All the better for seeing you.
Yes, very good. Seeing me. I wish I had that privilege. So-
Just look on your own cam. It's
oh, I
fine.
do. Yeah, well, that's what I look at most of the time anyway, as most people do.
Yeah.
So, what are we covering in today's show?
I think we're going to talk about the dark arts, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. So, depends which way you're inclined. Is it dark arts? Is it sportsmanship? Is it shithousery? We'll cover it all.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
we're also going to cover the great Jimmy Hill.
Yeah, we promised we'd cover Jimmy, an incredible man who had a lot to say and a lot of involvement in football that maybe people wouldn't know about. And yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, and then we'll finish it off with just going with footballers who have weird jobs after they retired.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm already sort of thinking of one and amused by it. So yeah, I'm sure we'll bring up a few of those.
Okay, so let's start with the dark arts of football. Um, I think we should start with asking you where is your level on dark arts of football? Are you happy with it? Do you mind it?
Well, it's come up a lot recently, hasn't it? It's come up in as much as Arsenal have been under a bit of scrutiny in recent times, and I think finding the definition is the most interesting thing because to some people it means one thing, and to others it means a lot less. I don't know. Like to me, like is a tactical foul, a little shirt pull. Is that dark arts or is that just everyone knows what you're doing? You're taking your book in.
Yeah, is the punishment fits the crime basically, isn't it? And you're like, okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
or are you someone like let's take it really extreme, like Luis Suarez, where you're biting people off, off the ball without the referee looking and ignoring for a moment VAR in this day and
Hmm.
age.
Well, let's go
Like,
through
yeah,
it. Let's sort of
mm,
because dark arts used to be an elbow when the ref's not looking, and it
right.
kind of was sort of seen as well. Football used to be seen as a hard man's game, and that's basically the fight. It's a fight, and there's a ball involved, and
Yeah,
that has evolved, and that doesn't really happen anymore. And now we're at a stage where they're exploiting the rules in a different way, and you could call it game management. So time wasting. Let's start with time wasting. Um,
okay.
you know, do you think it's clever to time waste? Do you think it should be done? Do you think players and teams owe it to respect the rules and not do it, or is there too much at?
I think it comes back to just as you said then, we've touched on it before about there's so much at stake that I can't blame anyone for time wasting. Look, I mean, is it time wasting to take the ball to the corner?
They would say no because it's in the game. It's not.
It's in game, isn't
Yeah.
it? It can be managed. Everyone's got a fair chance. Yeah, so probably not. I wouldn't call that dark arts. But it's a similar sort of thing. And the thing is with a lot of these, I want to say, oh, I don't like it, and some of the things that we discuss, we might not. But I know that if it's a case of running to get the ball to take a throw in, or walking to get the ball, or stopping to tie the shoelaces, these are all things I've done,
Yeah.
so I can't get mad about it.
Now that's
you know?
gamesmanship. I don't mind that sort of stuff. It's
Okay,
That's not
all right,
cheating.
fine.
But let's go through the next stages where okay, diving. Diving seems to be
Okay.
very much accepted now.
Um,
Before it was
I
something
think
that
it's
only
understood
foreigners
rather than
did.
accepted. Yeah, well, yeah, of course, it was something that foreigners did. Yeah, that was the old cliche back in the day, definitely. Is it accepted? Yeah, it's tolerated.
I
Uh,
don't like it. There's
no, I don't.
anticipating the challenge. You can be clever with it, but to actually throw yourself to the ground.
Yeah, no, anticipating the challenge or trying to get out of the way of it or anything like that, that's different. But feigning complete simulation is 20 years ago since Man United ended Arsenal's unbeaten run this week. Wayne Rooney's dived for that penalty. Sol Campbell, he's dangled a leg, sure, and from a certain angle it might look like a penalty, but he hasn't touched him. He's completely thrown himself to the ground. So, yeah, I don't like that.
No. VAR's actually stopped diving, I think. I don't think players are doing it as much because of that.
No, you don't see it very much now. You're not going to get away with it. And, yeah, you'll just get booked. It's more likely to go against you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, true.
Here's a big one. Faking injuries. Cramping up in the last 10. Or it's got silly now where it could be just in the second half.
Yeah, I was going to come on to faking injuries. Obviously, there's you're assuming or making your own assumptions about whether a player is injured or isn't injured, assuming that they are injured. And they're just, no, I don't like that. That's, I think that's pretty pathetic. Even if it's, I've got cramp. In fact, cramp, I would say, is the worst one. Yeah. It's like a pussy's injury, isn't it? It's like, come on, mate, get a grip. I don't know,
like again, it's that thing. It's like, don't hurry to get up if you've been in a collision. It's like, don't rush to get up if you're winning and you're trying to, and they've just clattered you.
Yeah, sure.
There's things like that. But when it's just cramping up and you're given a time for all the players to go and have another tactic chat with the manager, keepers are terrible for this.
Keepers are very bad for it. Yeah, absolutely. Keepers probably steal the most time in terms of an individual, the average individual on a pitch, wasting time from goal kicks. Which comes under the time wasting thing as well. But what about stealing space? So trying to gain 10 yards on a throw, trying to obviously move the ball forward for a free kick.
Yeah, I hate all that. I can't, I'll put kicking the ball away with that as well. And
that's a big one. I mean, we've seen big decisions from players, kicking the ball away and it being either given or not given. And 2 against Arsenal this season, and for me, really, they're second yellows. I keep hearing this idea of you can't send someone off for that, but it's a yellow card.
Yeah, and they are kicking the ball away.
It's just a yellow card.
Yeah, and it's always like, you don't want to ruin the game. And it's like, don't kick the ball away. It's like there's no responsibility by players to sort of obey the rules. It's like, the refs ruined it there. You're like, don't do it. So we both play Sunday League, and it's very funny when you get a bit of dark arts at that sort of standard because, yes, there's a lot at stake in the Premier League. Less so on Sunday. What do you think is the worst thing we've seen? Or you've done?
What's the worst thing I've done? Oh, I don't think I've ever done anything too bad. You're gonna mention one now.
No, I haven't got one.
I don't. No, I don't think so. Many of the things we've mentioned, like tactical fouls maybe, and a bit of time wasting, not rushing for things, but nothing too egregious.
What about smack?
The worst thing we've seen.
Do you like a bit of?
I love.
A bit of chat.
Smack talking. Oh yeah, all over that. That's for me. That's all part of it. That's one of my favourite things.
I hope it's going on constantly at a professional level. It feels like it goes in waves a bit.
I think there's a lot of respect amongst fellow professionals. I don't know that they do get in each other's ear as much.
Well, we saw Haaland recently.
Obviously, it goes on. Oh, yeah, it goes on, clearly. And when you get a bit of needle between two teams. But I think at Sunday League, it's just accepted and assumed from the outset.
I can't work out if I admire players that go do the pinching when they're marking you.
Well, yeah, actually, saying that, you said to me, what's the worst thing you've seen or you've done? And I am struggling. But now that you've said something, you've been involved in some incidents against you, this is on you, where you've been touched.
Well, let's not, I've been fingered in the bum, haven't I? From a number 9.
I mean, I don't want to make jokes about it. Genuinely, I know I'm kind of laughing, but that is sexual assault. And I don't want to make a joke out of it. We're only laughing because you were able to laugh it off at the time and it didn't affect you. But it's ridiculous. I don't want to over-exaggerate this, but it's really bad.
It's ridiculous because it's Sunday League, and you're thinking the reason why I was like, well, he's kind of got me there, literally, but it's like I can't shout to the ref, he's fingering me. I can't.
Well, you're just going to get laughed at.
Nah. You know, I can go, come on, ref, watch out. What am I going to say? You know, it's the same when it's just pinching or tickling's quite good because
Tickling's
you can't
good,
shout.
but again, you can't be telling people you're getting tickled.
No.
Just sounds like you're having too much of a nice time. No, you can't do that.
But yeah, the fingering was weird because I was saying to him, I was like, really? Like,
yeah.
You want this?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Very weird. Yeah, maybe that's the worst thing I've seen. And in fact, it is the worst thing I've seen. We'll have seen all kinds of little slight gains. But that's a memorable one.
Do you think that happens at the professional level?
Not so much anymore. I think it used to. Yeah, I think all of that would have gone on. Yeah. I mean, you've got the famous Vinnie Jones Gazza squeezing the balls, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's a kind of a good example of. Yeah, I think so. I think you would have had centre halves that were up for that sort of thing.
Would you? How far would you go to win a medal? To win a league? You fingering bums?
Okay, so I mean, like, is it a straight choice? Finger a bum, win the league. Don't finger a bum, don't win the league.
Well, it helps. It helps. It's every advantage.
I'm clearly against sexual assault. I can't be any clearer on that. So I'm gonna have to say no. Like, I don't care if it helps. I won't be fingering anyone involuntarily. Look, if they're happy for it, we can discuss.
Well, that's a different advantage, isn't it? I guess.
That's a different podcast. Who do you think are the worst offenders of the dark arts
I had a list
that we've
of
seen?
This. It's I think it's Bournemouth, isn't it? It's someone like that, I think.
Oh, just as a club.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
I've got a good story actually. So obviously you can't shout "leave it."
Kind of. It's unsporting. There's nothing in the rules that mentions leave or it, but carry on.
Well, Naki, he found out their secret word for leave it, which was Sid, because he was on loan there. So he basically, when he went back to Bournemouth, he told them that their secret word is Sid, and someone else shouted it, and there's a good bit of footage.
Oh, that's
of
good.
A player doing a dummy on the edge of the area, and what can you do?
It just falls to the opposition. That's excellent. That's smart dark arts. Kind of got respect for it.
Yeah, okay.
That's good. It's questionable, but I kind of like that. I mean, we've got a code word in our team, haven't we, for when you don't want to, tell someone, bring down the opposition player at any cost. Foul him or something like that. You don't want to see
the yellow, basically.
That could lead to sort of things. We have a code word, so I suppose it's a similar sort of thing to that.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
So you're okay with that? What about spying on training?
Oh, of course. This went on, and I think if your security is bad enough that you've allowed it, then it's fair game.
Fair enough, yeah.
I don't like it. Overall, I don't like it. You should be allowed to work and do your own thing and prepare in your own way in private. But I do sort of think if you're not managing it, because teams used to train in the park way back in the day.
Of course, yeah.
So you could spy on teams really easily, where security wasn't a thing. I think if you're not doing your jobs as a club, I don't know.
No, that's good. Yeah. Got anything?
Do you have a player in mind that you think's the worst ever?
No, I don't think. No one really to hand.
Yeah.
You think of dirty players, but clever dirty. Sort of proper. I guess the Italians used to be famous for, is it, like Cellini and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I can think of two incidents. So Busquets and David Luiz have both done a similar thing where they go down and they're holding the face and then they're
Oh,
looking
the little
between the hands and
smile.
almost sort of laughing. I think Busquets did it first. It was that in the Champions League, and then David Luiz did it, and David Luiz is almost better. He's like a proper grin on his face. Um,
Rivaldo had
I like
that
little
famous
incidents
one,
like
didn't
that.
he?
Yeah, Rivaldo, of
With
course.
the
Yeah, gets
kick,
hit with the
kick.
ball on the knee and goes down.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Pepe springs to mind as just like a bit of a dark arts player, and Sergio Ramos maybe, but hard to pinpoint just one person, isn't it?
Yeah, it always ends up in violence as well with those. Yeah, that's the thing. The
Yeah,
best of the dark arts we probably don't know because they're the best at it.
they're so good.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's a bit like the Spanish teams are really good at hunting in packs. You know,
yeah,
taking turns to take the yellow, and you don't know who to
yeah.
give the yellow to because they've just all had a little kick out.
But I think what we can conclude with dark arts is people are generally happy with it if it suits their team.
Oh, yeah, well, that's with everything. As long as you're winning.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about Jimmy Hill. Have you done a bit of research on him?
Jimmy Hill, what a fascinating individual. So, for those who don't know who Jimmy Hill is, or perhaps just don't know about his contribution to football, I want to run for a few things. So, born in 1928, had a good playing career for Brentford and Fulham. He spent 9 years at Fulham, 3 years at Brentford, before going on to do many things. And in fact, I'm going to test you out here. How many jobs in football for Jimmy Hill can you name?
Oh, I think I can do a few. In football. So he's a...
There are 11.
Okay, let's try it. Player.
Correct. One.
Manager.
Two.
Chairman.
Three.
Director.
Four.
Linesman.
Five.
Head of PFA or that sort of role. Player.
Trade union leader.
There
I'll let you
go,
have it.
union,
6.
yeah.
And that's great.
He was a pundit.
7.
Are we counting? He was also head of like football television for ITV as well.
Yeah, he was an executive. 8.
Yeah. 8. I've got 3 more. I probably missed some of the chairman, linesman.
There's some nuances. So yeah, you're only missing a couple on nuances. You've basically said everything.
And he's probably been has he been assistant manager?
Okay, so yeah, there's
presenter.
coach.
Oh yeah, coach, presenter.
There you go,
as well.
presenter with the presenter, coach. Yeah, so yeah, and then the last one is it's a TV related one again. You've said pundit, and you've said presenter.
And he was. Oh, I won't get the wording of this. He's in charge of the instant replay. He invented it.
I mean, he brought that in, but with analyst or co-com. I would have accepted.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Commentator, yeah.
But you've pretty much nailed all of those. Yeah, 11 different jobs. So yeah, incredible history, and I'll talk you through just a few of the headlines of the things he did and the impact he made. So we talked about players going on strike in our last episode, and this is kind of how we got onto him because of the wage cap that was in football many years ago. So did you know in 1900 they introduced a wage cap in football? I don't know why this was, but it was £7 a week.
Yeah.
They decided this needs to be capped. By 1920, that had moved up to £9 a week, but it was still there. In 1924, they dropped it to £8 because why not? You know, inflation. What inflation? By 1957, whilst still a player, Jimmy Hill became the PFA chairman and campaigned for £20 to be, or the maximum wage at the time at £20 to be scrapped. This went on for quite a few years, and by 1961 he managed it, and it was scrapped. And Jimmy Haynes for Fulham became the first player to sign for more than that. By 1964, the average salary was up 61%. And by 1968, George Best was the highest earning player in Britain, and he was earning £1,000 a week, which is obviously a huge markup from just 7 years earlier, where there was still a cap. In today's money, that's £18,872 a week for George Best, which is obviously still great money now, even if you were, just a player and you just took that money. So he had a huge influence on money in football, and that I would say would be the first real impact he made. He retired as a player by 33 and became the commentary manager, and then he started to do things as the commentary manager to help their club, which would then have a knock-on effect in football. We'd already seen he'd had an effect on the wider landscape of football, but he changed the club's colours to sky blue. Don Revie did this with Leeds actually in the late 60s. He turned them to white as well. So not that uncommon in those days.
I think there's a big branding back then. There's people trying to market football differently, so they're changing nicknames, and I think they were influenced by other sports. So there's a lot of shirts changing colour and stuff like that. And
that's it. Something that just wouldn't be accepted now. Cardiff did it, didn't they? They had a new owner. Just over 10 years ago, they came into the Premier League and changed. And it just doesn't work. It just, it was everyone hated it associated with the club. So, he got commentary a club song, the Sky Blue song. I believe they still sing that, which again doesn't seem like a big thing, but it's all about marketing and it's all about bringing entertainment into football, which we'll come on to. Because he also brought in glossy match day programmes. So he put on chartered trains.
He wrote Coventry's song, but I found out he also wrote Arsenal's FA Cup song and got them a song as well. So he's just writing songs for clubs now as well, just on the side.
I missed that in my research. Didn't know he was writing other people's songs. Wow, no, okay. Do you know what year that was?
I do not. Hang on, I've got something called Google.
Arsenal were in the cup final they won the double in 71?
It could be around then. 71.
He would have been Coventry.
Yeah, he did. He wrote "Good Old Arsenal" to the tune "Real Britannia," and it was performed by Arsenal's first team squad for their 1971 FA Cup final song.
Why was he doing that?
Because he's just doing everything, isn't he?
He's just doing everything. Yeah, of course he is.
Let's talk about some of the rule stuff he's done. Then have you got?
Well, he advocated for 3 points for a win.
Yeah.
Rather than by 19. Yeah, so it used to be 2 points for a win. So this was introduced. Then it took a little time to come in. Then it was scrapped in England, and then it came back in again. Which, it feels remarkable to me that in 1981 we're bringing it in. And then we're scrapping it before the advent of the Premier League.
They couldn't make up their minds up about if it
very strange.
worked. And then the FIFA didn't bring it in until 94.
Yeah, that's right. For the World Cup. He converted Highfield Road into England's first ever all-seater stadium. This is obviously before the Heysel disaster and the Hillsborough disaster. Yeah. So, quite progressive on that front. He introduced, the 1970 World Cup, he became the host for ITV.
Yeah.
And he introduced pundits for the first time, studio pundits to come and ex-professionals to sit and talk about the game, which we take for granted now. But at the time, that was new and seen as something a little bit extra to sort of jazz up the coverage.
Well, there just wasn't really TV coverage. That's the thing. It's like people were against the idea of football being on television, where he was the opposite, and he was like, no, we should have a game on a Friday and that's the game
Yeah.
that's going to be on television. And he was just,
Yeah.
he was an innovator. He just wanted to take football to the next level. And he had a lot of critics about it. And, even things like the 2 points and the 3 points, people weren't sure about it. And they've always sort of questioned him.
You mentioned earlier about him being linesman as part of his roles. And that is just one of the most random stories. So this was 1972, Arsenal-Liverpool. The match almost got abandoned because the linesman had gotten injured, and they had to put out an address using the PA to the crowd saying, look, is there any qualified referees? And Jimmy Hill happened to be there watching the game and came down in his sweatshirt and ran the line for the rest of the game. Again, it's just it's remarkable. Yeah.
I think,
that's the other thing.
Go on.
I've got a rule change.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other rule change he brought in. There we go. So, 1976, he brought in goal difference instead of goal average because goal average was favouring fewer goals conceded, whereas goal difference is favouring goals scored.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It made a big difference.
Yeah.
If you've scored more goals and you have a superior goal difference, I think that's the way football should be rewarded if it is level. So yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, I think he doesn't get his flowers because, he looks like a cartoon character, and he was also famous in the playground.
Yeah.
Chinny used to go
Jimmy
Hill.
Yeah.
And he also was probably a bit busy and being a pundit, and so he was easily mocked, and I guess it's similar to some people might be a bit like that with Gary Neville now. That's probably the closest thing in terms of pundits. He's quite busy with his building and stuff like that, and he's got an opinion on everything. Let's see where Gary Neville is in 20 years' time when he's a bit old, and
that's a really good point. That is a good point. That's a good comparison. Not a complete parallel, but it's a good comparison, especially with his different roles. I think Gary Neville, most people, they're of the opinion, I hated Gary Neville as a player, but I like him so I think he gets the credit, but then, no good comparison.
But then Gary Neville hasn't really revolutionised punditry. It's like Jimmy Hill invented it. Gary Neville
that's right.
Still talking where no one even thought about having analysis of football, and the instant replay, Jimmy Hill was like, wouldn't it be good if we could replay that goal and then have people talk about it? Before you just used to watch the match. You couldn't watch it again. You didn't know. No,
that's right. And we're listing a lot of things here that for our generation, you sort of go, well, yeah, of course that's a thing. But it had to start somewhere. And a lot of these come from, his head, really.
Yeah. And football doesn't want to move forward.
No, generally not. When you consider the discussions around VAR, which is very much moving football forward, yeah. Most appearances presenting match of the day, as well, over 600.
I don't know why he stepped down from that and then became a pundit later on. Did he just?
Strange.
I tried to look it up. I don't know if he just was doing another job at the time, or he just wasn't fancied as the main presenter or something. But I couldn't work that out, why he stepped down and became a pundit.
I'm not completely sure. I think maybe other roles, because Des Lynam took over, and as you say, he stepped into the punditry role, which is really what we would have grown up on him doing. That's really where I remember him the most, I think. And then, of course, he did Sunday Supplement for 8 years. It was Jimmy Hill's Sunday Supplement, which then they dropped his name after he left, and that was he carried on for.
It's the right thing to do,
years.
Isn't it? Really, I always think that if that person has left, you probably need to call it not Jimmy Hill's Sunday Supplement.
Feels a little bit ridiculous.
Or maybe
is it rubbing it in as well?
Yeah, I think so. Which I realised that Stick to Football have just copied that, haven't they? Someone's gone, I used to like Sunday Supplement where you watch them eating croissants, and then they made that a thing on, I was going to say a rival podcast, but I don't think.
No. But yeah, that's true. That is very true. Um, do you think there's an individual that's had as much of an impact where innovation and bringing new ideas into football goes?
No, I don't think you can do it now. I think he was at a time where football was on the up, and he was very much a part of that.
Yeah.
But now, you look at you becoming in charge of UEFA, and then you're going to be done for being corrupt, aren't you? It seems to be the path.
Yeah.
You just can't get things. You just can't get things done that quickly.
No, football was ready for those changes, I suppose. And even though we've said he had his critics, everyone is always going to have that. But yeah, football, it was in a position to be on the up. And yeah, you're quite right, especially with TV coming in and yeah.
Well, that's a little bit about Jimmy Hill.
Good old Jimmy Hill. And also in one of my favourite football films, My Summer with Des, where James Bond's wife and that bloke off Men Behaving Badly have sex and try not to ejaculate by thinking about Jimmy Hill. So there's always that as well.
There is. Okay, and let's conclude with our final topic, which is footballers with weird jobs after they retire. Sounds like there should be a jingle there, but we haven't got the budget. So most footballers, they become managers or coaches or stay involved in the game somehow, or they become pundits. But
yeah,
I think the modern footballer, it's interesting to see where they go now. They seem to be creating a brand for themselves. It's all about getting into clothing or fragrance. I think they're all dreaming. I think the only footballer that was able to do that before was David Beckham.
Well, I was going to come to Beckham. What's Beckham's job?
Being David Beckham. He is the original... Well, he's not an influencer, but he basically is now, isn't he? He is...
Yeah.
You can buy David Beckham glasses. I don't think he wears glasses, apart from...
No, I don't think he does. More of a contacts guy, perhaps. Yeah. It's like Cristiano Ronaldo. What is he going to do after football? He's not going to be a manager, is he?
No, he's going to be the brand Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But even people like before that, I guess George Best did it a bit, but George Best still ends up as a pundit on Soccer Saturday. And he was a proper
very
superstar.
True.
And Maradona, he went into management and stuff still.
Yeah, very strange seeing him as Argentina manager a few years back. I don't know why.
I guess it's political as well, though, with that, I guess. And then Pele, he was doing a lot of branding, selling Viagra and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing a lot of footballers nowadays will want to be doing that. But there's a few ones that sort of stood out where I'm like, what about, the normal jobs? You said you had a few to mind.
Well, the one that always jumps out to me, and it's is because it's such you were playing for Man United and England, and then you've gone on to such a normal job, and that's Neil Webb, who is perhaps before a lot of people's time that are watching and listening to this. Who knows? Played for United and England in the early 90s, and went on to become a postman.
Still delivering.
And I just think with that mid. Early 90s, it's probably that last point where you don't have that top like Premier League money to fall back on, and you need to go and get a job. I don't think there's going to be many doing that now unless you've really handled your money badly.
Yeah, they can invest it well and just live off that. And Neil Webb time, I think that's the sort of time where they would open a pub and put their medals on the wall.
Yeah.
That's basically
I was about to say pub landlord was that was a big one. Around that time as well, I remember Robbie Fowler was seen as one of the smartest footballers, and I think he had a claim to be the richest footballer on the basis that he was so good at investing his money in property. That would have been probably turn the millennium maybe, and I think that now is just something normal for footballers. Look after yourself, invest your money, and even if it's crypto. And I think a lot of footballers are thinking about that now.
Definitely, yeah. We've forgotten the actors, the footballers that have become actors. Obviously, who do you think the biggest actor is?
Biggest.
And they need to be established footballers. I don't like these old, so and so used to play.
No.
They need to be playing top level.
No, if the fact about the actor is, did you know he used to play for Rangers? Then I'm not interested.
Yeah.
No. Well, I suppose it's between Cantona and Vinnie Jones, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Any others?
And I would think Vinnie Jones has been the most successful.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Cantona's got a film about him, Looking for Eric.
It's a good film, actually. Yeah, of course. But I think Vinnie Jones just been in.
No, he's just friends with Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, true.
LeBoeuf, he's an actor.
Yeah.
Stan Collymore.
Oh yeah, I've forgotten he.
I think he was in Basic Instinct too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And then where do we put Dion Dublin in this?
Has he acted? I can only think of his TV
he's just
presenting.
presenter. And he invented a musical instrument as well, I believe.
That's true. The Dubes. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty outrageous.
Okay, so
are we missing any famous actors, footballers?
Probably a big one. Right in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through some of these names, and you're going to tell me what job they've got or have been doing.
Okay.
Right. Fabian Barthez. Bit crazy, wasn't he?
I think I've heard this. Oh no. Isn't he something mad, like a greyhound racer or something?
Oh, close. A racing car driver.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, racing car driver. Yeah, I did know that.
He entered 24 Hours the Le Mans endurance race.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think Mendieta and Cisse became? Not together. They're not doing it together.
Dibriel, Cisse, Gaisca, Mendieta. So they've done, not together, but they've done the same job.
A clue is that it's in Cisse's name.
What?
We confuse you. The job title is in his name.
I don't know. Oh, you've thrown me now.
Okay. They both
something to do with the C?
No, they both became DJs.
Well, how's that in his name? What?
Because his first name's Gilbert Cisse. It's DJ.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gibril. Oh, okay. All right.
We'll move on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me with him. He's a cool cat, Gibril Cisse. But Mendieta, I can't see that. So there you go.
No, he could be shit, DJ.
It might be rubbish. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, kind of. He's got David Guetta vibes, hasn't he? If you looked at David Guetta, you're not going. He's probably a world-class DJ.
Yeah.
He's on the other side.
Shout.
Yeah. What do you think Stuart Ripley?
Mendieta.
What do you think Stuart Ripley became?
Stuart Ripley. I've got a weird postman thing about him. Has he got like a normal job? Don't tell me it's a second. It's not a postman though.
No, it's a suited job.
Okay, yeah. Like something in finance?
He's a solicitor.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
David Hillier.
The Arsenal midfielder.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a bit niche, but
well, you can keep. You don't have to think about them all. You know, you're not. if you don't have one that comes to you straight away, we don't need to go through him.
No.
Well, he's a firefighter.
Is he? Okay, there you go.
Philip Albert.
Something cool. Jousting.
He became a greengrocer for a bit.
Really?
Yeah. But then he went back to being a football pundit. Ooh.
Boring.
Yeah. Ian Dazoo. Pompey player.
Wigan and Portsmouth. Yeah.
I remember seeing a Football Focus about him being really clever. And having him.
And does that play out with this job?
Kinda, yeah.
Is he some sort of scientist?
He's a detective.
That rings a bell, actually. Yeah, I think I might have heard that before.
Okay, what else we got? Oh, this is a sad one, I think. Hakan Suka. Good player. Well, best Turkish player ever.
Scored the fastest World Cup goal ever.
Which?
No, I don't know this. You said this is sad. I don't know whether
Well, I guess you could take pride in your
Undertaker?
Work. No, he's an Uber driver.
Okay.
I think he might have hit hard times.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But it does feel like a fall from grace from a professional footballer, I suppose. But nothing wrong with being an Uber driver.
No, nothing wrong at all. No. But Tino Spria?
Oh, something mad.
Yeah,
you know,
mad.
I don't want to play up to the cliche, but
you're not going to get this right.
Ringmaster.
No, he's a condom business owner.
He's a what?
He's a condom business owner.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah,
right,
he's got a range of flavoured condoms. Yeah. So,
okay.
Is that the best so far?
Very good. Yeah, that's good. That's decent.
And then this is, George Weah. Do you know what he's
doing?
Oh,
well, now? President of Liberia.
Yeah, there you go. So,
I mean, that's outrageous.
Yeah, maybe he's got a career like Jimmy Hill.
Yeah, maybe we should have been thinking of former world player and of the year, George Weah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Did we learn anything, or did we just have a bit of fun? Maybe both.
Perhaps I think this podcast is about learning and having fun, Wilkesy.
Oh, definitely. Well, we'll leave it at that, and we'll see you next week.
Next time. See you then.
Bye.